Hey everyone, how's it going? Sarah here, and today I wanted to talk about a Supercharge list that I've been playing on the ladder over the past maybe day and a half. I've been tweaking the list a little bit, refining it, and I think I've come to something pretty nice. I like what's going on here. Um, so my list is very greed heavy. Like I think most Supercharge lists are very greed heavy, but I'm playing pretty much all of them, which I do think this is fairly standard. Some might not play the two Vomitentacles, for instance. Maybe they don't always play the two copies of Ammy, but yeah, I'm playing all the Bizniz, all the Creampuffs, everything that draws cards. I'm playing, and I'm playing the two Strawbashes, but I'm not playing the card that evolves out of Strawbash, the Barricane. This is the reason I decided to not play the Barricane is I felt it was really expensive to not do a ton. And then as far as the Supercharge package itself goes, I play the two Tripfuse, two Joltilla, and two Voltizard. And then I'll play two copies of the evolution of Joltilla, the Thunderilla, and then one copy of the Voltizard evolution. And that's it. So as far as Supercharge lists go, this is actually fairly light on Supercharge cards. A lot of them will play the 5-mana Supercharge card. It's named Shock Claw, maybe? No. It's like something Claw, I think, right? Electro Claw? No, it's the one that evolves out of this. Electro Slash. Yeah, a lot of lists will play this one, but I have decided to not play this one. And this one is good. It's basically, it's a lot like the Stormander. It pushes about the same amount of damage as Stormander, but it costs one less. So actually, this card might be worth playing, but I've decided to not play it just because I want to keep the possibility of being able to get this card, or like my big Supercharge unit, I want to get it off of an evolution. So the Thunderilla and the Stormander is kind of how you do that. And then to finish off the list, I play a ton of 1-drops, and I think this is what sets this list apart the most from a lot of the other Supercharge lists, is they don't all lean into this. So here I have the two Turbos, the two Tearuks, the two Vrooms, and obviously the two Fukus. Most lists are playing the Vrooms and the Fukus, but not all of them are playing the Turbos and the Tearuks. And the reason I like these is because they're very cheap, and they have a lot of impact on the board. So with this deck, you end up drawing so many cards that it's kind of hard to play all of them. And they're so cheap that you can kind of flexibly fit them in as you're playing out the rest of your game plan. As well as they help you control the board. This deck struggles with the board because, let's be honest, the units you're playing aren't very good. They're all greed units. They're all understated. These Creampuffs and Biznises are embarrassing to play on turn 2 compared to some of the other things in the format, like the Sprigion or the Astraling. Like, they just don't line up well at all against them. So your board is your units are so small, so you play these kinds of cards to help kind of catch you back up and help you by the time you need to be able to kind of combo off with your Supercharge units. So I figure we can jump into one game, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it goes pretty well. And we immediately get into a game. Let's see how it goes. So already, I like this hand. We're playing against Russell. I like our hand. We have the Pukey on turn 2. And that's one of the really important things about this deck, is just having that that curve in the early turns to be able to just draw all those cards up. So this is a little bit of a weird turn, right? We don't have, what do you call it? I'm going to take the 4 damage. We don't have a way to play Greed this turn. We can't sacrifice our board. So I'll just go ahead. I'll push 4 damage to the face. I think in this position, the 4 damage to him is more valuable. And then it'll force him to trade, which is exactly what happens here. And now let's see. This is a bit of an awkward position. We would really like to, it just doesn't really benefit me to play anything on this turn. I could play the Molturtle, or not the Molturtle, the Ammy, potentially, just because it's going to be kind of hard to use over the coming turns, I think. And this will just get something into play, even though it's not much. And I'm going to trade here and push face. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to not play too hard into Earthquake. I'm a little bit afraid he's going to have that. So he's just made it very difficult for us to play our Supercharge units. Or to play our Greed units, rather. But it's okay. We do have the Tripfuse here on this turn, so we can push quite a bit of damage. And I have so many Greeds, I'm just going to play one to cycle here. I really need to find more Supercharge units. Our hand is very, very light on Supercharges right now. He's a bit on the back foot here, so we'll see what he does. There's a couple things he could do that would be kind of scary, but I don't know for sure if he'll have it. That would be like if he has Fukus here, for instance. Okay, he's going to spend some life here. That's pretty good for me, actually. So I can push 16. So one of the things about this deck is it has a ton of reach. I didn't mention that during the deck tech. So let me think real quick. We have 16 here, and then I can go... That would cost 5 mana. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'd be 18, 20, plus 16. We just have lethal on this turn, actually. Oh, and he's just going to concede before we get to play it out. We did have 18 damage from hand with the two 1-drops, the two 1-drop combustions. You can play the 2 Vrooms, and then you can whirlwind it back to your hand and play another one. So we had an insane amount of damage from hand. So I guess, hopefully that's a good example of how this deck works. I really like having all these 1-drop cards. They, especially like at the end, the combustions just provide you so much additional reach from where you can kill from hand. And yeah, thank you for joining me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff. Let me know if you've been playing this list, or if you've been playing any Supercharged decks in general. I know some people are not too crazy about it, but I think it's actually pretty strong, and I think it's harder to play than it looks. I know that game, we just kind of came out with a really powerful opening, and I think that can highlight, like, that game highlighted how much reach this deck can have from kind of out of nowhere, where it can blow you up. But it's not, the games aren't always simple, and to find lethal, they're going to be really tricky at times. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and see y'all later.